Hello YouTube, it's Ghetto here. My team and I got tired of playing the same old hardcore team deathmatch over and over and decided to change it up. In this video we are playing Hardcore Mosh Pit Kill Confirmed. Now I originally was going to run around and destroy them with a PM9. Unfortunately for them, they made the mistake of blowing me up with a grenade launcher. I shall have my revenge. Later on in this video the enemy team will get nuked. Twice. This video features a double Moab, Unreal Nightmare style, running and gunning at its best. I end up dropping the first nuke followed by Juice immediately after. So this game has been out since November 2011 and it is by far one of the best Call of Duties that they have put out to date. If this game did not have death streaks, support kill streaks, terribly predictable spawns, or explosions in hardcore, it would be near perfect. Enough about this game though. I was playing Black Ops 2 last night since they recently released Mob of the Dead, and let me tell you, Mob of the Dead is amazing. It is definitely in the top 3 maps Treyarch has ever made. It is a close tie between Mob of the Dead and Ascension for the best map in my opinion. I would probably rank Mob of the Dead above Ascension. So if you haven't played Mob of the Dead yet, here's a summary of the map. You start off as ghosts that have the ability to levitate and shock things. Use shock power circuits to turn on perk machines and doors or to teleport zombies away from you. You only have a limited amount of time in this form though. Basically, if you go down, you automatically become a ghost that can do the aforementioned things. However, you can also revive yourself. Instead of having 1 life, you really have 2. The whole purpose of the map is to escape Alcatraz by building a plane and flying off the island. The map may seem overwhelming at first, but it really isn't bigger than any of their previous maps like Call of the Dead. I will be uploading gameplay of Mob of the Dead sometime soon. On another note, I was actually playing multiplayer in Black Ops 2 since I was already on the game from zombies. It is better than it was before, but the host really does determine who is going to win a gunfight in that game. I want to like playing it, but I don't like relying on a good host to determine who the better player is. I will admit that it is better than it was a few months ago though. Now let's begin the ultimate Call of Duty game idea. I have spoken to several people that think this would be a fantastic idea. Let me lay it out. Okay. They should make a Call of Duty game that contains every map ever created and combine them all into one single game. They should also combine guns, perks, and kill streaks. Imagine yourself playing on Crash or Ambush with a Scar wearing Flak Jacket and Hardline with a Reaper, Lightning Strike, and AC-130. This game would be strictly multiplayer with no campaign. I think it would sell great, and what's even better is they wouldn't really even have to do that much in terms of creating new things. They've already created all the maps and weapons from previous games. They would just have to implement them all into one game. Basically, it's a way to reward loyal Call of Duty players and for them to continue making money. Everyone says, oh, they put out the same game again and again every year anyway. Well, why not do just that? Except this time, instead of releasing a game with 15 to 20 maps and 25 to 30 guns, they can release a game with 125 maps and 150 guns, along with perks and kill streaks, of course. People buy Call of Duty every year because it grows old and boring playing the same old 20 maps with the same old 30 weapons over and over again. If there were so many maps and weapons in the game, there would be so much diversity that it would not become boring as quickly. If you agree and think this is a good idea, please let them know. Sure, they can still release DLC to go with it if they so desired. Another thing about DLC, I understand that you release map packs usually containing 4 to 5 maps for 1200 Microsoft points. Players want to be able to buy maps individually. Let them! If player A only wants to buy 4 out of 5 maps in the map pack, he should be able to without being forced into what is essentially a contract for all 5. There are several ways you can go about this without losing your precious profits. You can make each individual map cost more than if you bought all 5. Say the map pack contains 5 maps and costs 1200 Microsoft points. Make each individual map cost 250 to 275 points. Yes, you will not be making your full $15 off the map pack, but say player A changes his mind later on down the line and wants them all. You would then have made even more than if you had originally only sold him the map pack. Of course, you can keep microtransactions in the game for people that want to run around with some ridiculous camouflage, dressed like a banana, or have rainbow-colored pretzels in their guns. We aren't asking you to cut profits or make less money. We understand that as a company, it is your obligation to make profits for your shareholders. That is, if you are a publicly traded company, which I would assume that you are. The players would like to be rewarded as well. If you keep cheating your players with the attitude of, I don't care what your problems are, you already bought our game and we made money off of you, I'm sorry to say that you will not be in business for very much longer. I am an accountant and I know the way the game works. If you want to please the players, ask them for ideas. Some ideas the players put out there are ridiculous, to say the least. Obviously, someone has to comb through and filter out all of the crap, but some of us have genuinely good ideas. What may seem good to one person may seem ridiculous to another, though. This brings us to the question, who decides which ideas are worthy of making the cut? I really want to know whose idea it was to introduce death streaks, because that was the most stupid idea to implement ever. Hopefully he or she no longer has a job. Some of us were sitting around making jokes about that. It's like, okay guys, how can we reward terrible players? I've got an idea. How about we give them rewards if they die? Everyone looks around the room hesitantly, seeking each other's approval, and comes to a joint decision that this is the greatest idea ever. Hopefully they have learned from their mistakes and actually consult with their fanbase now. A line has to be drawn somewhere on what makes it into these games, though. If you let the Call of Duty community design and implement the next game, it will be terrible. Part of this is because there are sub-17 players actively engaging in gameplay. There needs to be some kind of way to prevent prepubescent children from playing games that are
rated M for mature.
Yeah, you know the Coltrane loves you, baby. But seriously, I don't know how to prevent children from playing mature games. Some people say have them enter a driver's license number or credit card number. The problem with this is licenses can be revoked or expire, and not everyone has a credit card, or the kids will find their guardian's card and input it. Other people have suggested biometrics or voice command. Voice command might not be so bad, but who wants to scan their fingerprint in order to play a game? Ultimately, it comes down to the responsibility of the parents, which, let's face it, they don't care what their kids do. This is another reason the upcoming generation in our country is screwed. They grew up being allowed to do whatever they want. Parents don't give attention to their kids these days, and they wonder why they all grow up to be dumb as dirt with no job, expecting handouts or becoming criminals. I don't want to go into this topic in this video, but expect to see it soon. Anyway, back to the video. As you saw, Juice just dropped his Moab not too long ago, and the game continues. Basically now we're just trying to wrap this game up. I'm frantically picking up any weapons that I see just to get it over with. I don't mind akimbo scorpions, but they run out of ammo quickly since they are akimbo. The problem with picking up enemies' weapons is you have no idea how much ammo is in them. You have to make every shot count when you don't have scavenger. All in all, it turned out to be a great game. Juice and I pulled a combined score of 78-4. I'll leave you with this quote from Mark Twain. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Peace!